haunted by a paranormal entity can be a traumatic experience. But when it's a young child being attacked by an evil spirit, the consequences are truly horrifying.
Paranormal Survivor, interview with Crystal Martin. Take one. Marking.
The house that I grew up in had a large front yard and a large backyard. It was 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, full basement, full-size house. And I had a lot of really strange things that happened to me there.
For Crystal and her sister Carrie, the paranormal experiences began at an early age.
Around 4 years old, I started to feel fear and terror in that house. It was from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed in the house, fear. I heard lots of banging noises, and they were like bang, bang, little light, and then bang, bang, and then like bang, bang, like shaking my closet doors.
The unexplained noises soon escalated into something far more terrifying.
I woke up and I rolled over, and in my hallway there was a man in a brown suit. He had dark hair, dark features. Looking in his eyes, there was nothing there. It was just empty. My impression of the man was that he was evil. And he smiled, and he turned around toward my sister's room and disappeared. The only other person that saw that man in the house would be my sister. And she said he went to attack her. He looked like somebody that you would not trust on the street. He looked like somebody that had been in jail multiple times and would prey on kids or whoever.
Malevolent things are attracted to the innocence of children. And children, they're easy targets. They're easy to fool. They're easy to get an invitation from. And once the invitation has been made, you have a problem.
I woke up and I went in the room, and that was it. He was gone.
For the next few years, Crystal kept experiencing the nighttime apparitions.
The man would appear to me almost every night. He would do things like just be in different places of the room, smiling at me and laughing with like one of those really deep laughs. To lock eyes with him was torture, because there was nothing there. It was just a big void. When I seen him, I couldn't do anything. I was frozen in fear. I could not speak. I tried, and nothing came out. I was just so terrified that I shut down. It's like paralyzing fear.
Go away.
It didn't take long for the attacks to become more violent.
He had a knife, and he was trying to cut me all over. And I thought I was literally having parts of my body taken off. There was cuts that I actually did have on my leg, and they were all in a line, and it was just like boom, 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 boom. Just cuts like that. To see the physical evidence, there's no words. It's beyond terrified. It was torture, really.
A spirit can cause physical injuries like deep cuts if they are strong. If they're that angry, if they're that evil, they're going to cause physical harm.
This was an extremely scary incident for me. I felt that I was in serious danger, like that I was going to be killed.
Soon, even the daylight hours ceased to be safe.
When I first walked downstairs in the morning, I would see rotted skeletons hanging from the ceiling.
Nine-year-old Crystal Martin was being terrorized by an evil and violent entity. But Crystal's suffering would only get worse as the horror intensified.
When I first walked downstairs in the morning, I would see rotted skeletons hanging from the ceiling. They were hanging from the ceiling by the ropes around their neck. The skeletons looked like people that had either been killed or died, like they were decomposing. They just looked insane. They looked, wow. They looked evil. Very, very evil. They were terrifying to me because I was awake. It was just horrible. I think there was a connection between the man in the brown suit and the skeletons.
The horrifying apparitions were pushing Crystal to her breaking point.
One night I woke up and that man in the brown suit was there once again. And I asked him straight out,
What do you want from me?
he looked at me and he laughed and he turned and wrote "kill" in capital letters in red on my bedroom wall. He was writing with just his finger and it was red. The words were red, so I assumed it was blood. When he was finished writing that on the wall, he had this really weird, eerie smile on his face. And he literally dropped. Boom, gone. I thought he was under my bed. I started crying and yelling for help.
Crystal!
My babysitter came up and she just said, "You're just having a dream. Go back to sleep." She didn't believe me. To know my babysitter didn't believe me, it made me feel just horrible inside, and it made me feel like I couldn't trust her or go to her. So I quickly rolled back in my bed facing the wall with my blankets over my head, and I just was like holding them really, really tight. And that's the way I stayed till morning. I didn't move. I didn't roll over, nothing. I didn't even go back to sleep. After that, I felt like I was being watched.
The constant fear and terror took a toll on Crystal.
Physically, I got sick. I'd throw up. I had night terrors. Mentally, it was depression, and I got a serious anxiety disorder, which I'm still on medication for.
It's very dangerous when an entity victimizes a child because a child is innocent and they can't fight back. They may believe everything the entity tells them. And it's very difficult for a child to recover from that. It becomes very emotionally and mentally traumatizing.
Fearing the male spirit was bad enough, but soon a new and terrifying entity also began to appear in the house.
My sister told me that she had seen a little girl in white crawling across her floor. And then she stood up with an axe. And my sister tried to cover herself and yelled, and then she disappeared.
But this time, Crystal and her sister weren't the only ones to encounter the spirit.
My babysitter, she was sleeping on the couch, and she was awoken just by fear. And she woke up and she saw this little girl. She was dressed in overalls with a pink shirt underneath. The little girl had blonde hair, blue eyes, and she was really, really, really sad looking. The little girl looked at her, and she led her into the basement. And then she turned around, and she just looked really, really, really sad. And then she was gone.
And things would only get worse for Crystal's babysitter.
She could hear dragging noises. She said it sounded like my toy chest was being dragged across the floor, so she thought I was up and moving things around. My babysitter thought she was being lured into the basement for something evil. She just had a sense of fear and dread of the basement, I think. When she went up to check on things to see what was going on, she found my sister in her bed sleeping and me in my bed sleeping in our rooms. When she turned, she got knocked to the ground.
Old Crystal Martin and her 13-year-old sister were victimized by evil entities in their home. Soon, even their babysitter fell victim to the violence.
And it knocked her out. After she was knocked unconscious, she got up. She didn't know what was going on, so it was dark. It's like paralyzing fear.
Wake up, Crystal!
So she woke us up, took us with her to the hospital, and she ended up with a concussion.
I can't stay here anymore.
The incident changed my babysitter's thinking about what was going on because she had been knocked unconscious, so she knew that there was something there that was not good. At that point, she did think that something evil was inside the house.
The babysitter finally believed her, but it proved to be of little comfort for Crystal.
I wanted to move out so badly because just all the evil things that were happening, the injuries, just the fear that I had gone through, I couldn't take it anymore.
When Crystal turned 18, she decided to move out of the house.
What got me through the final years in that house was definitely my sister Carrie. I wouldn't have made it without her. So when I was 18, I got my stuff, moved out. Then the rest of my family ended up moving about a year later. The scariest part of the terrors for me were just how evil they were. It definitely made me believe 100% in the paranormal, from ghosts to demons to the fact that they really can hurt you. Those that say that they can't are lying.